Whether it was by setting a trend for the entire industry, creating a new genre, or affecting policy change around the world, these 10 games forever changed the gaming industry both positively and negatively. Make sure before we begin to leave a like on the video and comment what game you think changed the industry forever. Let's start off with number 10, FIFA 2009. Being so used to it by now, it's hard to think of the time where loot boxes and microtransactions were nowhere near paid games. But that all changed when EA attacked. FIFA 2009 introduced the Ultimate Team mode for the first time. For those of you that don't know, the Ultimate Team is a multiplayer mode where you build your team with trading cards of players from around the world. Those players are unlocked by opening card packs, which is completely random by design but not inherently bad. The design is bad when those packs can be purchased with real money, which made FIFA 2009 the first pay-to-win AAA title, or at least the first popular one. This game is $60 to play. The implementation of pay-to-win elements into their games had multiplied EA's value by 8 in just a little less than 10 years, and by that encouraged a large part of the industry to weave loot boxes into the game's progression. This game is probably the game that caused the most damage to consumers everywhere, but game number 2 on this list gave us a lot of hope for the future. Number 9, League of Legends. League of Legends had hardly created the MOBA genre. It merely took it and popularized it by providing a more free environment compared to other games in the genre, and more accessible and fun gameplay. On top of popularizing the genre and inspiring a slew of other games, League of Legends had popularized ranked gaming modes and esports along with it, paving the road for many other games to host tournaments around the world with millions of dollars in cash prizes. Number 8, Shenmue. The production of Shenmue 1 and 2 had spanned over several years and cost Sega around $70 million, and while it probably doesn't stand the test of time, it was an instant classic. Every character in-game had its own schedule and could be interacted with. Combine it with the day and night cycle, along with plenty of distractions along the way, like an arcade filled with old Sega games. The game does very little to hold your hand and show you the way. You're tasked with finding the man who killed your father, and you have to piece everything together by asking the right people around town and getting to the certain areas in-game at the right time. A day cycle, side content, money you can spend, and a world you can interact with is completely standard for most games today. But back in '99, Shenmue essentially created the open-world genre as we know it by putting all these elements together. If you want to experience the grandfather of open-world games, luckily, there is an HD remake for both Shenmue 1 and Shenmue 2 available on consoles and PC. Number 7, Grand Theft Auto 3. If Shenmue is the great-grandfather of open-world games, then GTA 3 is the grandfather of the modern-day open-world games. Coming only 1 year after Shenmue, GTA 3 took the world by storm and eventually became the 6th most-selling game on PlayStation 2. With the previous 2 titles being a top-down 2D game, GTA 3 was the first entry in what gaming historians call the 3D universe. Even though it probably had less features than Shenmue, it was the combination of the sandbox nature of GTA with open-world elements that made it a huge success. Being able to go into any car in the game, start a rampage, and attack every NPC on site was nothing new to the series. It was the third dimension being added to the game and open-ended nature of it that was so fun back in the day. If your mission was to kill a certain target, you had several different ways to go about it, and instead of doing so in a limited scripted area of the game, it was on a large map where you can go anywhere. People often confuse and interchangeably use the term open world and sandbox, and they're very easy to confuse. So while Shenmue was the first truly open world game, GTA 3 was the first open world sandbox game. Number 6, Pokemon Go. Much like GTA 3 and League of Legends, Pokemon Go was nothing new in terms of the genre. In fact, it was pretty much an exact copy of a game from the GPS-based game genre that was reskinned as a Pokemon game. It is, however, a game that changed the industry forever by finally popularizing GPS-based games and augmented reality. Pokemon Go, being successful, opened the door for more games down the line to improve on the GPS-based game genre, and with better hardware in the future, the sky truly is the limit. In a sense, Pokemon Go hadn't changed the gaming scene yet. It just planted a seed for a game that will harvest it in the future as for the present. It made gamers leave their house, which is huge in its own right. Number 5, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. PUBG is the first battle royale game to take the crown back in 2017. Battle Royales existed way before that with games like H1Z1 and DayZ, but PUBG was the one to finally put the genre on the top spot. It later inspired Fortnite's own Battle Royale mode as the free-to-play alternative. Because of PUBG, we had Blackout for Black Ops 4 and Warzone today, which is a huge success. It spawned endless amounts of copycats and cash-grabby buggy games that were jumping on the Battle Royale trend. It made almost every FPS game that came afterward chase a Battle Royale mode no matter how unstable or unpolished it was. It's a trend many of us could do without. All the attention that was spent on the Battle Royale mode for Black Ops 4 is probably what made them ditch the campaign mode for the game or for Battlefield 5 to be a buggy, unplayable mess. At least we got Warzone, Apex Legends, and a couple of other interesting takes on the genre that provided all of us hours upon hours of entertainment. Number 4. Candy Crush. A lot of you right now are probably confused because Candy Crush is usually used to insult casuals and non-gamers, but it truly changed the gaming industry and for the worst. First of all, you have limited lives in a game which would only generate over time, or you could pay some money. Second of all, upon reaching a certain level, you would have to wait for several days before you could go on to the next one, or you'd have to share a post on social media and drag other people into the game. It wasn't to use any of those terrible freemium game mechanics at all. It just popularized it and made it mainstream due to the casual nature of the game and its general appeal. It set the worst template in gaming for almost every mobile game we've had in the future and opened the door for even more predatory games to take advantage of addicted gamers. Number 3. Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1 should probably be in the first spot since it truly changed the gaming industry forever in the most literal sense, but it's ranked number 3 for a reason. The most iconic part of Mortal Kombat that separates it from other fighting games is the finish him or her mechanic, where you get to brutally maim or kill your opponent after you've won the fight, adding insult to injury. Parents who were oblivious to the game's nature, since it was mostly played in an arcade setting, now finally had a problem with the game once they saw their kids tearing a pixelated heart out of their virtual enemy on screen. That was enough to cause a lot of controversy that still plagues gaming to this day. And it spawned the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB for short, the official body that rates every single game to this date. The reason Mortal Kombat is ranked number 3 on this list, despite it literally changing the gaming industry forever, is that the ESRB didn't change anything. It actually stands still by doing nothing while FIFA simulates gambling with their loot boxes, which should get them a teen rating for the game, but it's actually rated for everyone. It stands by as NBA 2K lets you gamble a currency you can purchase with real-life money, which should give the game an adult rating, but it gets rated E for everyone as well. The ESRB didn't make a significant change, so that's why Mortal Kombat is only ranked 3 on this list. Number 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 received a ton of backlash even before it launched when players found out they have to grind out 50 hours or pay money if they want to unlock Darth Vader. EA's greed reached a peak after heavily monetizing their games and squeezing every single penny out of their customers. Now they had a license to create a Star Wars game, so you could bet that they would make it the most grossly monetized game. Luckily, the game's community didn't take it lying down and was completely fed up with loot boxes being tied to progression, forcing the player to essentially buy the game again to unlock a new character or invest 50 hours of playtime. The backlash was glorious and resulted in the most downvoted comment in Reddit's history. EA had their arm twisted both by the community and by Disney, who also found the design to be egregious and finally caved because apparently $2,100 or 4,528 hours to unlock all the content in-game is too much even for the most casual consumer. The backlash resulted in an overhaul that separated loot boxes from progression in-game. Coupled with much-wanted content updates, the game had one of the greatest redemption arcs in gaming. Battlefront 2 marks the beginning of the end for pay-to-win loot boxes and probably paid loot boxes in general, as talks around the issue are ramping up around the world and countries like Belgium outright banning them. Number 1. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. If there's ever a museum for gaming, Call of Duty 4 is one of the main centerpieces that should be displayed. The campaign is one of the best single-player experiences in the genre and takes complete advantage of the first-person perspective to tell the story, but that's not why the game is on this list. The multiplayer mode of this game is why it's on the list. It's the first game that made Call of Duty the multiplayer franchise we know today. If you go and play Call of Duty 4's multiplayer today, you'd probably think it's bare bones and very basic. This might sound like an oxymoron, but that's a testament to how much this game had changed gaming forever. The reason Call of Duty 4 would feel basic today for most gamers is because it set the template for almost every first-person shooter game since late 2007 to today. Having a profile that carries over from match to match and unlocks new weapons, equipment, and perks as you level up was a rare sight in a landscape filled with tactical shooters where everyone around you has access to the same tool regardless of their current level. Unique camos for your weapons based on the amount of headshots with the weapon and attachments being unlocked after you got a certain amount of kills made the weapon feel like it's yours. It gave so much more meaning to the game overall, where before most matches were played in a vacuum and the best you could get was stat tracking or a rank. Call of Duty 4 feels blended because every modern shooter had implemented an overarching progression system, unique unlocks based on proficiency with the weapon and a class system. Even Battlefield, which is considered to be a polar opposite to the Call of Duty franchise, had finally implemented a score-based reward system that is very similar to Call of Duty's kill streak mechanic. What is the game that changed the industry the most in your opinion? Make sure to leave it in the comments, and on your way there, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any of our future videos. Thank you guys for watching, good luck, and have fun.